Morning students. So students, we will learn the other part of the lesson now. Before learning, we will see what we had learned in the previous video. We had learned in the previous video about India and her neighbors. We had seen also that India is the biggest subcontinent, or called India is the biggest country in the Indian subcontinent. Then also we had seen the relation between India and Pakistan, India and China, and India and Afghanistan. Now let's move further with the country Bangladesh. So we'll see how we have a relationship with Bangladesh. Today's Bangladesh is the erstwhile East Pakistan. When Pakistan was created, it had two parts, West and East Pakistan. So if you find today's Bangladesh, you will find in the east side of the Pakistan. So Bangladesh lies over there. There was linguistic difference between them. There were other political conflicts as well. The movement to liberate Bangladesh emerged out of this. This movement tried to free Bangladesh from the dominance of West Pakistan. India helped Bangladesh in its freedom struggle. Bangladesh was formed in 1971. So, India helped Bangladesh during its freedom struggle. And Bangladesh was formed in the year 1971. Some treaties were signed between India and Bangladesh. So there were some agreements also signed between both the countries. Now what was signed? About sharing river waters and some regarding the shared border. So what was the agreement? That they used to share the river waters, which put an end to the conflict between them. Now, trade between the two countries are growing. So, India and Bangladesh are in good contacts with each other. If there is possibility of any trade relations, it's going on smoothly. So, between these two countries, there is no conflict and their relations are growing successfully. Now next we'll see about India and Sri Lanka. Now we know that Sri Lanka is a very small part of a country where it lies below India, where you can see in this map. Okay, so India has friendly relations with the southern neighbor Sri Lanka. So you'll find Sri Lanka in the south. Political instability in Sri Lanka after 1985 was a result of the differences between the Tamils and the Sri Lanka government. At that time, India had sent a peacekeeping force to help the Sri Lanka government. So you can see India helped Bangladesh. India also helped Sri Lanka. India helped Sri Lanka how? In keeping peace. Okay, and at that time, India also helped them by forcing them to keep peace and to also help the Sri Lanka government. Friendly relations with Sri Lanka are important from the point of view of security in the Indian Ocean. Now they have friendly relations also because of the Indian Ocean. Now when you look at Sri Lanka mostly lies in the part of the Indian Ocean. Okay. Next we'll move to Nepal. Nepal and Bhutan are landlocked countries surrounded by mountainous terrain. As you can see, there are lots of mountains in these, that is in Nepal and in Bhutan. Their boundaries are linked with India and China. The foundation of friendship between India and Nepal was laid with Indo-Nepalese Friendship Treaty in 1950. According to this treaty, Nepali citizens can not only enter India, but they are also permitted to take up government jobs and carry on trade in India. So their treaty was so much, their treaty was of friendship, that these people, that is these Nepalese people, they could enter in India and also they could work over here. They could take up any government job and also jobs related to anything like trade. So the year 1990 marked the beginning of Nepal's transition to democracy. Nepal is dependent upon India for economic progress, basic facilities, food related needs, trade and energy needs. So Nepal is mostly, you can say, dependent on India on all these things, that is related to money matters, food related things, trade and all. Okay. India sent a lot of help to Nepal at the time of the 2015 earthquake. So when there was an earthquake in the year 2015, India helped Nepal a lot. Next, we'll move to the next country, that is Bhutan. So India bears the responsibility of the defense of Bhutan. Bhutan has a huge source of water. Now, as you can see in the map, India is where and Bhutan is where. So Bhutan has a lot source of water. So India has cooperated in the project to produce hydel power on a large scale using this source, hydel power, because they have a lot source of water, that is why. Next, we'll move to Myanmar. So Myanmar is India's door to the Southeast Asian countries. South Asia, Middle Asia and Southeast Asia will be connected with each other with the rail and roadways that are being developed in this area. This will help increase trade and other exchange in this region. India will be able to import natural gas from Myanmar. So in Myanmar you get mostly natural gas. So that's why India has good relations with Myanmar as well, so that India can import natural gas from that country. Next we will move to Maldives. India's relation with Maldives have been friendly right from the beginning. This small nation to the south of India is dependent on India for a lot of reasons. Trade relations have been established between the two since 1981. So India and Maldives have trade relations since the year 1981. India has helped Maldives in the development of basic facilities or infrastructure, health and communication. From 2006 onwards, cooperation in the military field also started between the two countries. They have entered into treaties with respect to cooperation in space research, conservation of historical objects and tourism. Similarly, they have decided to cooperate in the area of fighting against terrorism. So Maldives and India have a good relation. They have cooperated, they have signed a treaty, because India has also helped Maldives a lot. So what they have decided that they will cooperate in the area of fighting against terrorism. Okay, if there is any terrorism invasion in their country, they will fight against terrorism. Who? Maldives and India. Now let's see the next country, that is America. So India and America are two powerful nations. As we all know, till today's date, they are both a powerful nations who have democratic political system. Right from the beginning, America was India's most important trading partner. So always India wanted the trade, the goods to be sent. They were very good in that, India and America. Many Indians went to America for education or work. We also know that. Due to the presence of these non-resident India, the cultural, social and economic relations between America and India have been increasing. So nowadays also we seen that there is any trade relating things, their relationship is always increasing, India and America. At the end of Cold War, the military relations between India and America have increased on a large scale. After India accepted free market economy, the speed of economic progress slowly increased. It resulted in further strengthening the trade relations between India and America. So the market economy also of the both the countries started increasing. So that way their trade relations also were strengthening, India and America's. So when India conducted nuclear tests. We seen that in the previous chapter. In 1998, there was tension in the relation between the two countries. Why was there tension? Because we know that America did not like to help India in this test, in the nuclear test. Many rounds of discussion took place after that to prove the relations. Through this round of talks, America came to be believed that India will use its nuclear weapons with responsibility. This completely transformed the Indo-American relations. The civil nuclear agreement signed in 2005 that was approved by the US Congress in 2008 was an important landmark in Indo-American relations. In the last 5 years, cordial relations of cooperation in different areas have developed between India and America. Although there was some problems, but then after, India and America were in good contacts, and from many years they are in good relation, India and America. India and Russia of today have always shared relations. In 1971, the Indian-Soviet Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation was signed between them, and it gave great threat impetus to cooperation between the two countries in defense and technology. So India also used to take help from Russia. The Soviet Union has also given economic and military help to India on a large scale. So Russia also helped India in different ways. When the Soviet Union collapsed, India tried to establish relations with Russia. Now, when Russia had certain problems, India helped Russia as well. Due to the political and economic problems in Russia, relations did not improve much. After 1996, Indo-Russian relations began to improve slowly. India and Russia have jointly built projects related to production of military equipment, production of mineral oil, etc. So all these different kinds of production, India and Russia used to jointly do these projects. So we can understand by this that these two countries, India and Russia, also had good relations with each other. Next, we'll move on to India and European nations. Now, there are trade relations between European nations and India. So, there are other nations also, European nations. Especially, Germany and France invest on a large scale in the field of technology in India. So, Germany and Russia, they invest a lot in what? In the field of technology, which is going on in India. Apart from this, India gets the technology of production of weapons from European nation. India is a major exporter in the field of engineering and information technology. Both have the objective of firmness on free trade. India and European nations are cooperating in other areas as well. So now these countries, what do? Now here we are talking about the country Germany and France. Now when India needs certain weapons, they buy from other countries. They buy from other countries. When other countries need from India, they buy it from India. So this is what their relation remains stronger. Okay? They keep cooperating with each other. Several treaties have been signed in the fields of climate change, clean energy, defense production, disaster management, security of air, space and terrorism. This cooperation is very important from the point of view of India's development. So it's not only that the other countries have to cooperate, but India is also cooperating a lot. Now, if India will cooperate a lot, what will happen? India will also start developing like the other countries has developed. Okay? Now, India is developing. We are not a completely developed country like the other countries, but slowly we will also get developed. Next, we'll see India and the continent of Africa. India has consciously taken steps to build cooperation between India and the continent of Africa. Having close relations with Africa will be beneficial from the point of view of both. So India also has relations with the African countries. Many countries in Africa are developing rapidly. India has shown its readiness to help in the all-round development of African youth. So India is also helping the African youths. India has also agreed to give economic help and give grants to bring about development in different areas. So, India is also helping the African countries economically in the areas like technology, agriculture, tourism, etc. We know that these things are very good in our country. So, India is also helping the African countries in this. India's energy need can be fulfilled by the energy rich countries like Egypt, Nigeria, Angola, and Sudan. India is making efforts to increase trade with Africa. Next, the Conference of India and Africa was held in 2015, and the representatives from all 54 African nations attended it. In the conference, discussions were held on many global issues, for example, climate change, terrorism, piracy, etc. All these problems were sorted out in this conference which was held in India. Next, we'll move on to India and the Indo-Pacific area. The Indo-Pacific area includes countries like Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and the Southeast Asian countries. All of this have close relations with India. So these countries also have some relations with India. Many companies there have invested in India. Treaties have been signed between India and Australia. Okay, India and Australia also have a good treaties about what? About social security, extradition of criminals, the missions against smuggling of drugs, terrorism, art and culture. Japan cooperates with India in basic facilities, economic cooperation, information technology, atomic energy, and railways. Japan has agreed to extend cooperation and technological help to India in the development and security of coastal areas. Joint naval exercises are carried out between the navies and coast guards of both the countries. So there is help from Japan, there is help from Australia. Now Japan is helping India in how? In the technological help, in development of the coastal areas, okay, the sea areas. So they are giving good coast guards, navies, they are seeing about that. Next we'll move on to India and West Asia. The West Asian countries are primarily suppliers of oil and natural gas. So these West Asia countries, you'll see they are mostly suppliers of, they get oil, minerals and natural gas. India has traditionally had relation with these countries. India depends upon the oil coming in from West Asia. India imports oil from Iran. From which places India takes oil? Iran, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. We get modern technology for agriculture and defense equipment from Israel. Also, many Indians live in Israel for their jobs or business. Now, these you can see there are many Indian people also living over there. They go for job purposes. Okay, so in this way, India is also taking help from the West Asian countries. For what? For the imports of oil, natural gas and all. Also, many Indians live in Israel for their jobs or businesses. They also make a major contribution to our economy. The main objective of India's foreign policy is to maintain friendly relations. So, what is India's aim? When we seen this whole chapter about India and other countries, now what was their aim? That they should keep the relations with the other countries good, properly, okay, with all nations and help each other so as to bring about development of India as well as other nations. Now, not only to keep good relations, but also to help other countries when they are when they don't have certain things, we should give them. When they have, they will give us. So that's how the relation remains good. We have we have taken stock of India's relation with the main countries in the world. Okay, so here we finished with this chapter. In the next chapter, we shall study about some important international or global issues. Okay, so we will learn the next chapter in the next video. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.